Whether it's filling up my cup, I'm always drinking Coca-Cola.
What's up, you beautiful collectors and Transformer fans? Thanks for tuning in. Once again, it is the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, it's a combiner theme recently. We're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Studio Series 86 Commander Class Hook and Long Haul. This is the first time that they've done the Commander Class price point in a 2-pack, which is kind of interesting. So it's a $90 set, and you kind of have to think, is it worth it? When Commander Class figures, usually around $90 to $100 or so, and recent ones have been like Commander Class Optimus Prime, Commander Class Rodimus Prime, Skyfire, Jetfire, whatever you want to call them. Like I said, is this one worth that same price point? We will take a look. Most of you probably have already seen videos on this guy, but you're looking to get my opinion on it. So I'll let you know. For the package, as you can see, you got Transformers Studio Series Hook Long Haul. You got an image of them at Autobot City, about to form Devastator to prepare for extermination. You got Devastator right there. Side has them in their robot or their vehicle modes. Back section, you can see robot modes. But that was robot modes, vehicle modes, and then you got, of course, Devastator bench pressing, or maybe bench press. I don't know, lifting over his head, sludge, and about to get rammed by slug, whatever you want to call him, right there, which is kind of cool. Kind of unfortunate that they don't come with, and I already took the figures out of the box, so this is just the box. There's Prowl. They're on their way to fight the evil Decepticons. I don't know. But it is kind of thing, like they're doing Studio Series now, but they're not including the backdrops anymore. It would be kind of cool if you had like a backdrop of that, so you could kind of recreate that scene. But it saves money, I guess. But for the packaging on these guys, that's about it. So without further to-do, let's get them out here and see how cool they actually are. All right, my people, so here we have the one and only Long Haul and Hook. Open up out of their packaging and in their vehicle modes. And the first question that I pose is this set worth the $90 price point that the Commander Class is going for now? And I'll be honest, while these are simpler Transformers, I definitely think that it is worth the $90 price point. These guys are roughly Voyager scale, so you're looking at like $30 each, roughly, depending on where you go, sometimes $35. So you're looking at between $60 and $70 individually for those. And then this section right here is going to be another $30 or so. So 30, 60, 90. It's a bit of a stretch because this really doesn't do too terribly much, but there is some engineering in it. There is a lot of extra parts that are here. So all the extra bits that come for Devastator, the chest, the hands, the arms, the crotch section, that's all basically here. So I can say that I think that it is worth the $90 price point. But that being said, all the engineering in the plastic and everything has been spread out across these guys, as opposed to most normal figures where all the price goes into one of the figures. They took from these to give us this, and it's unfortunate, but I do still think it is worth the price point in general. Starting off first with Hook. Long Haul. Really very nice. Now, granted, he doesn't have the whole empty section here like a dump truck would have, but it's kind of designed that way where you can kind of see it a little bit. But overall, very happy with how he turned out. Great detail, nice color. Obviously, this is Constructicon, so they're going to have this neon yellow. He's got little red bits right here, which are going to be funny because where those end up basically is like Devastator's butt. And he's got two little red butt cheeks, which That was brought up to me by my girlfriend, and I thought it was hilarious, so I threw it in here. But nice detail, like with the paint, giving some black windows. There you got the Decepticon logo. Silver for the headlights. One thing that's really very nice, and part of the transformation you need to do this, but this section opens so that you can like fit the head and everything, but there's painted in detail there, which I never would have expected them to do, but I like that they did it. Like, even putting paint on there is really kind of impressive. All the tires are very good. They're all pinned in there, which is unique, because a lot of times we get just like the mushroom peg thing rolls decently. You can see his gun. It does come in 2 sections, so it's like it's a missile kind of thing, but you can plug that in there and use it for his gun, which is perfect. And then he does come with this whole back section, which I do like how they incorporated this. It does end up creating like more tires on Devastator than he really needs to have, but you can see these little bits here, which kind of are like missile pods. These are going to become his forearms and his hands. But you have that. You got his chest piece there, and then the other portion of the chest piece down there. But you got this little nub thing right here. So what you can basically do is separate this a little bit, and then you got little hole sections here. Oh, and that popped off. So you can take this, get that situated, and kind of hold it there, and sandwich that together. He can carry that around, like, or he's got a trailer basically, which, you know, I would imagine like a very large dump truck kind of thing would be able to tow things like this. So I mean, I like the functionality of it. I think that they were creative in terms of like, hey, we got all these extra parts, how can we make this change into something that the vehicle modes here can use? And I think that's pretty cool. I like that. The other thing that's really nice, I don't really see people talking about this, but in the old G1 toys, these were his scrapper. You got little slots here. This is very much like the original G1 toy, where you can put these on him. You got these tabs right here that you got slots there, and if you really wanted to, you can wait. Yeah, let's see. Put that. Come on, where's it at? There you go. Line that up like that. And that's a nice throwback to the original G1 toy. I think that's cool that you can attach those on there and give him little wings. It's ridiculous, but it's definitely a thing that you can do. And I'll bring out the other Constructicons here in a bit. But you do have this section, and like I said, these all are going to separate. I might as well just do it now because you're not going to need it for anything else. This tabs in to the underside, and that creates his chest piece. And then, like I said, these bits here are going to become his hands. As you can see, these just rotate out. They are on pegs. They're not permanently attached, which I don't know why they did that, but you have the hands, and then you would just take this, rotate these back, because these are the parts that attach to the top. So fold that away. So you have that. I'm not really going to transform. Well, I guess I might as well, because like I said, it's not really doing anything at this point in time right now. So you have to separate. You got all that. Well, let's see. Take this, connect that section there. This bit here. This is very tight on mine. Very, very secure. So pull this piece away. Come on. Well, oh wait, hold on. Pull this. All this stuff is really solid. That's one thing. Like I said, if they're taking the parts, and then you can pull this away. If they're taking like from here in terms of the engineering and stuff to put in here, not bad, honestly, because this is sturdy. You can hear those ratchet joints. Those are ridiculously solid. But getting him, it's one of those things where like I feel like the ratchet joints are a little bit too much. And then you're going to rotate all this, and this is basically just going to sit on the back side here. That kind of hangs out there, but you know, is what it is. And this is basically the crotch area and the upper thighs of Devastator. So we're just going to set that off to the back for right now. And then taking a look at Hook, again, very nice. You got his weapon, which really doesn't like store all that well because you can't put it anywhere. I'm trying to figure out if there's a good spot to to put this guy, and I can't really find one other than you got the post right here that like points it up. But you have his gun, very G1 accurate as well, which looks nice. Set that off to the side. I detached his thing, but again, this is it's fairly accurate. I mean, in terms of this mode, I do kind of wish that you could have hidden. Obviously, this is Devastator's head, but there's not really much that you can do to hide it. I wish that if they're giving us all these parts, you know, they could have made something where like this would detach. That would look a little bit cooler, I think. But it's not gross. This section here also does detach. It just pegs on there, but you can extend that bit a little bit out. That articulates down. Again, kind of wish that was a little bit longer just because you have all this. You could have made that go much, much longer, but, you know, it is what it is. Put that back in there. Again, great paint, great color, matches beautifully. You got the purple here for the windshield and everything. Pinned in tires, which look really good. You can rotate this around. You do have to kind of elevate it to get it to go past this guy, but you can rotate that around, obviously. For all intent and purposes, he looks great. I mean, he does the job that he needs to, and that's look like one of these crane vehicles. So really happy with that. You got the tires there. Again, rolls really well. Bringing in, let's get these bits off to the side. Here we have Bone Crusher, and then Scrapper, what I put. There's Scrapper. So we are basically almost done with Devastator, which is really cool. I mean, a lot of times these would be spread out over like a full year. We're getting them much sooner than that. I think Mixmaster's the next one that's going to be coming out, and then Scavenger. So we have 4 out of the 6 already, which is great. The only part that does kind of stink with this, with Devastator as opposed to like Menasor or even Superion, is that because they're doing it a little bit differently, obviously, and they're designing these legs. I mean, that it's accurate to the cartoon and everything. But without having Mixmaster, you don't have a leg for him that you can stand on. Like right now, because I have Silverbolt, I basically have Superion minus all the parts that attach to the side. You can do it with those ones. You can't really do it with Devastator. So right now, Devastator is missing a leg and an arm. So you can't really combine them all that well because you can't get them to stand. So there you go, though. I think that the overall look and design is pretty good with all of these guys. Some people are overly critical about them. I think that they're pretty cool. Cartoon accurate wise, they're solid. They represent the characters pretty decently, I think. And then, of course, they all come together to form Devastator very nicely. And I think, much like a lot of these combiners, there's more of an emphasis put on the combined form. So in this case, Devastator, and from the pictures that we've seen, Devastator looks amazing. So I'm really happy with them. I think that, as I mentioned, the price works out pretty decently, and I think for what you're getting, that $90 Commander class is well represented here. Now, transformation for these guys is actually fairly simple. As I talked about, there's less engineering in these, about on par with what we got with the Combiner Wars one, but they're smaller, so obviously, like I talked about with the price, that smaller size combined with the more simple transformation really is going to make people kind of complain, I think. You know, they're going to say, well, this is a Voyager. It should have Voyager. It doesn't. There's no way to get around it. Like I said, they took out, like, if this was individually sold as a Voyager class figure, they could probably have more engineering and more steps and things of that nature put into this, but it's not that way. Same thing with Long Haul. So starting off first with Hook, we're just going to kind of get that out of the way for right now. Come down here to these sections. You're going to detach these. Well, pull this away. And then you can, just get those down. And then you can take these and fold these forward just like that. Then you can take these legs, and these are going to, oh, not open there. They're going to spin around and angle down. So again, kind of pull this away, and then it's on this little accordion joint. So just bring that down. Then take these leg section, or these front sections here, and just reposition them there, and then detach. This is stiff. Get this. Oh wait, sorry. Pull that away and do it. I did that backwards. So pull that out, and then collapse that down just like so. Then take these little sections here, flip these up, and then these arms are going to, oh, you want to separate this. I'm sorry. Don't pull this away. Separate this section. And this gets in here really securely. There we go. And then you can hinge that down. This part also kind of like moves around because of the transformation into combined mode. So just leave it alone for the time being. Just push that all the way down. That'll lock that in place. You can take the hook, tuck that up. Just get that out of the way. Get it? Hook. Then shift these arms down like that. You already have his hands that are out. That's definitely something that I learned the hard way. I thought that you had to tuck these hands in for vehicle mode, and you definitely don't. You're supposed to leave them out. But there you have Hook in his robot mode. And again, very, very simple. Now, coming over to long haul, again, a very simplistic transformation. You're going to take these legs, swivel these all the way down, and then you can lock these into place. If, you know, I mean, well, I'll talk about that here in a bit. Lock them into place. That's perfectly fine. You can do it like that if you want to. Come around here to the bottom. You have these, which are his heel spurs. Get those folded out. This is the tough one of them. There you go. Just like that. Then these arms you want to detach from the side. And just bring those forward. Do that on this side as well. Bring those forward. And this entire assembly is going to shift back. Do that on this side as well. Make sure that's all the way there. Come around to the back. Detach this. This is going to fold down and collapse just like that. Take this front section. You open this and then you rotate this section down. Lock that into place and then put that back. Moving it forward gives you the clearance to bring his head out. Then these, you shift these back. This is kind of weird. Shift that there. Oh, wait, no. Bring it forward. Lock that down. And then fold out the hands. There we go. So again, bring this. Lock that in. Fold out. Come on, the fists. So again, you can see very simple in the transformation for both of these guys, but both of them still end up getting to be robot modes that look absolutely phenomenal. And while I don't have that Combiner Wars Devastator anymore, I honestly, when these were revealed, decided to sell that. And I'm quite happy that I did, because I think that these, in terms of appearance, is much, much improved. Granted, there are some elements, especially when you look at Hook, for example, that the engineering really does kind of carry over. They are smaller than what they were, but I think that it fits. I'm like I said, I'm quite happy with it. Now, taking a look at the Constructicons as we have them so far, again, I think that the overall design of them is extremely well done. A lot of times when you look at Combiner figures, and I know that I've said this in the past, it's really hard if you hear a lot of popping going on. It's 4th of July, so America. It's one of those kind of things where I really feel like for a lot of times that they kind of lose the focus on these in favor of the combined form, or in this case, Devastator. I don't really feel that with this. I know people have been overly critical about them, but I think there has to be some sacrifices that are made. But for all intent and purposes, what they developed here is pretty damn good. I'm really happy with it. I think that these are definitely figures that they could be very easily displayed on their own like this and when you combine them to form Devastator. And I think that that's a really very cool aspect of it, which I'm perfectly okay with. I really, really am. Now, getting these out of the way, taking a look first at Long Haul. This guy, he's chunky, he's big, he's bulky. I think that, again, he looks really very good. I love the head sculpt on him. Very, very similar to what we got with like that G1 toy and the animation, everything on this guy is fairly animation accurate, which I think is extremely well done. Doesn't have a ton of articulation in the head. I mean, it kind of rotates around, then it gets stuck on things, but you can move it around, as you can see. He doesn't have a waist joint. A lot of these don't. I don't really know why he doesn't have one. I mean, realistically, they could probably engineer one into this. I don't really know why they couldn't have put that in there. That's kind of weird to me. Some people will complain about the fact that his elbows are ball jointed. Again, I think that, I mean, well, part of it is the transformation into the Devastator mode. You need to have the flexibility around there. And I keep tucking his hands up because, you know, the arms are gonna, and then you have to rotate it around, and then it's gonna collapse down, and it's something like that. I don't remember. But it's, you know, it's not bad. I mean, I think that the head sculpt, like I said, looks great. You got the chest that can open. I think this, I mean, overall, really good figure. Molding wise, it's really nice. I mean, obviously he's just this green truck, but the black really does break things up nicely. I mean, he cleans up fairly well. Now, one thing that is interesting is that, well, I mean, and I get it because of the combined mode and everything. His legs lock in, but you don't have to lock them in. You can keep them loose, and that's perfectly fine. And then you have that as like a knee joint. I mean, and that's perfectly fine. But you can also detach this. So if you wanted to have that be a knee joint, you could. But that does kind of stick out a little bit further than up there. So like keeping that separated, I think works a little bit better for a knee joint, honestly. So I don't know which one is meant to be his knee, but he's got a doubled knee there, which I think is pretty good. He does have the ankle tilt and everything like that. I tucked away his heel. But overall, really very, very nice. I'm, like I said, quite happy with how this guy turned out. So there is Long Haul. As for Hook, a little bit more limiting in terms of the overall look on him. I mean, his arm does kind of get hindered. I mean, unless you move that up in terms of the rotation and everything. You do have the head, again, very much like that G1 design, where it's got like this boxy sort of thing, but he's got the little red visor on there, which looks good. He said you can move this up and rotate his arms around, so that's nice to see. He does have, I mean, he's got two joints here at the elbow, and it is really far down. You got the rotation up there as well. It does look a little bit weird how far down that elbow joint is, but again, is what it is. He also does not have waist rotation, so they're limiting some of the articulation. The guy, I just wonder if it's the design of what they had to come up with for Devastator mode. You got the rotation there, you have the knee joint, you do have ankle tilt on it and everything. He does have this that hangs off, but you can remove this if you want to. I'm sure a third-party company will probably come around and make a smaller one for robot mode. But again, it's what we saw in the actual, well, not so much the cartoon, but excuse me, the design of the G1 toy. So overall, like, very happy with them. I really am. I think that the design on both of these guys turned out pretty decent, and as you can see, they look great with the other Constructicons. I'm very happy with it. Now, I've been wrestling with the idea of doing the combiner thing, because I really didn't show too terribly much in terms of the combiner aspect for Scrapper and Bone Crusher. So I think I'm going to skip showing that on this as well. I'm going to save it for the full Devastator video, which will go into the details of transforming these guys. They did come with the instructions to show the combined mode and everything. This is just, this is the way that it's meant to be for that, obviously. So I'm gonna skip it. I know that's probably gonna disappoint some of you guys, but I think that ultimately it's not gonna look all that good. Just kind of showing you Devastator with one arm and one leg. I think that it's better served to do that in a full-on video of these guys. But there's my overall look. And besides, we're not reviewing Devastator. So there's my look at the new Commander Class Hook and Long Haul. As I said, $90 for this. You do have to kind of stretch your expectations a little bit on it, because like I said, these are roughly Voyager size figure. I mean, here's a deluxe. Here's deluxe Optimus, and I think a lot of people really like the idea of the Transformers Devastation Optimus scaling with these guys, because he's a little bit smaller. So you have a deluxe figure here that I think that ultimately still works pretty well in terms of the overall scale on things. These are definitely not as involved as some other Voyager figures. As I said, it feels like they took parts, or design out of this to be able to put into that. So when you're looking at all this stuff, you gotta compare. Like I said, $30 figure, $30 thing. I mean, because realistically, that could, like, all the plastic, and that's dense. Probably is like $30 right there as well. In addition to all these bits and things of that nature. So I do think that it is worth it. I'm quite happy with the price on it. I'm not overly critical on it. I also don't think that it's really fair to compare these to the Combiner Wars one. Yes, the Combiner Wars one, the nice thing about it is that Devastator is really big. But I'm also one of those kind of people that I felt like that Devastator was a little bit too big. It didn't feel right. I guess I know that Devastator has always been viewed as a very large combiner, but when I would put this next, or when I would put that Combiner Wars Devastator next to Predaking, for example, Predaking should be the biggest of all the combiners. I mean, that's fairly well established that he was the biggest of them, and having these guys next to each other just really, or having those two guys next to each other, just didn't feel right for me. So I think that the overall scale on these ones is a little bit better, at least for me. You may disagree, and that's perfectly fine. We're all allowed to have our own individual opinions. But I think what they did with these ones is improve on that design for the Combiner Wars, at least in terms of the individual bot modes. I know that, some people don't know that there was a Takara release of that Combiner Wars one that actually did enhance it a little bit, like giving some of these figures elbows and things of that nature. Because I don't remember if he had actually elbows in the original release of it. But that Takara one improved that one and did make it a better overall Devastator figure. I was worried for the longest time that it would just basically be a scaled down version of that Combiner Wars Devastator. And basically what we've seen here with these four figures, that's not the case. Even Hook, which I feel like Hook is one of the closest ones to that Combiner Wars one, if memory serves right, I still think is an improvement over it. So I think it's worth the price. I think that if people are already interested in getting Devastator, I'm not going to help to sway you one way or the other. You already have made up your mind. But if this video helped out, I do hope you got something out of it. And if you did, hit that thumbs up button. Let me know that you liked the video. I know it's based on my previous video. A lot of people were talking about, or they're asking if I'm gonna retire and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, I don't want to say that I'm going to retire, but I definitely feel like I'm going to be slowing things down a bit. But I don't want to say that I'm retiring, because something might come out that I want to share with you guys. So I'm not going away. I'll always be here. Of course, I'm on social media. I'm on the Twitter and Instagram. Those are the ones that I mostly kind of post on and things of that nature. So if you're interested, you can follow me there. Haven't really ever I haven't plugged that in a long time, but Twitter or x.com/Optibotimus, Instagram. I think it's like the same thing. I don't remember. But yeah, it's I'm having fun. I'm in the middle of moving, as I talked about, and I'm enjoying it. But like I said, the videos are probably going to ramp down. Some guys just feeling it, I guess. After doing this for almost 18 years now. Has it been 18 years? Yeah, almost 18 years. Yeah, it feels like it, because like I said, I mean, as somebody who has played sports his entire life, like hockey and things of that nature, I was kind of looked at professional athletes and thought, why don't they, like Brett Favre, if you're for a football person, he's just somebody that just hung around, and I always kind of felt like he's tarnishing his legacy. I don't know necessarily if I would say that I have a legacy. There's definitely some things that I am infamous for. If you got the reference at that very beginning of this video, you know what I'm talking about. But there's been a lot of ups and a lot of downs, a whole lot more ups than downs for sure. And I love and appreciate all of you guys for all of your support and everything that you guys have always stood by and supported when I put videos out, whether it be Transformers or Masters of the Universe or what else. We haven't got a lot of these, but Mega Man, Ninja Turtles, whatever the case may be. Like I said, I don't. You never want to say never, and I'm just kind of looking around at all the stuff that I've accumulated right now as I'm packing and getting everything ready to move. Yeah. So now I'm doing exactly what Ben or Pia did, where you're just kind of rambling at this point. So I'm going to wrap things up. Until next time, guys, thank you for tuning in. I love you all, and roll out.